It all started with football and a takeover bid for a football pitch.
Are you prepared to do it or not? Yeah. Right, well, let's get on with it then, okay?
It was feeling angry that finally got people together again. So angry they took the law into their own hands and made an old playground into a football pitch for their children.
We don't want the wooden parts damaged, so we'll take that off nice and gentle first of all. If we're not stopped, then we'll take the rest down. All right, Charlie?
Right, that's it.
All this must be left here, otherwise they'll charge us with theft. And we are not stealing, we are only repairing. Otherwise we are leaving ourselves open to theft. So make sure that everything is left here. Right slap bang in the bloody middle.
I did cut that side there. Just here.
When a bunch of reasonable citizens start destroying public property, chances are it's because they're desperate to make themselves heard, whoever tries to stop them.
They sent a letter round to my house today, a big limousine, to drive a personal letter down to stop this tonight.
We're not taking anything away, we're trying to improve things. I don't know if it's illegal or illegal, but we've got to do something. If the council won't do it, we'll have to do it ourselves.
We're not trespassing or anything like that. We're just making this a pitch for the kids that we've intimated before. We've been there, seen them on delegations, had letters back, nothing's happened at all, and we're just doing it now. We're fed up with it.
I'm prepared. If it means going to jail, I'll go to jail for it.
But this is more than a fight for a football pitch. It's a fight for a community.
Now they're knocking down the area and they're rebuilding it wrong. But there's a chance that I can say something about it. And this is what I intend to do. By the E1 League is the only means that we've got of saying something to the council that we want to run the way we live.
This is Stepney in the East End of London. It's an area with more homeless families, more children in care than any other borough. It's an area where 1 boy in 4 appears in court before his 16th birthday. To look at, it seems rather a bleak place without much character. But the older people remember a different kind of East End.
I lived in the highway, and let me think, 20 years ago, and they condemned it, they pulled it all down. And of course, obviously, shopping in Watney Street and going through to the cinema, this used to be 6 streets. This particular area used to be 6, 7 streets of rows of tenement houses, you know. Some were 2 up and 2 down, some were 3 floors of 2, some were 2, 3, you know. But they all knew one another, and when you used to come through 11 o'clock at night or 11:30, they'd all be sitting outside on their doorsteps with
used to come
cups of tea and all things. Oh, it used to be really lovely.
There was also poverty and the worst slums in London. But the streets were teeming with life then. It was like a village inside the city. The war hit the East End harder than any other part of London. There were 26,000 houses seriously damaged or completely destroyed, and the population came down from 200,000 to 72,000, with people being killed or evacuated. The East End came out of the war broken, knocked to bits. What Hitler left standing, the planners decided to finish off. So those messy and noisy back streets where the immigrants, the Jews, the Irish, the Chinese, the lot, lived and traded for generations hardly exist today, except in the memories of old people. The few streets that are left will soon be demolished, and the local kids write poems about a world they never knew.
Just down the road is a boarded up shop. I don't know how long. It was like that when we moved here. Skinheads have kicked some planks in, leaving holes for the rats to creep in at night. It was owned by Mr. Sternberg, and he used to give green short stamps. The notice is still there. The shop is number 46. I wonder how it's still there. I wonder what Mr. Sternberg looked like. I wonder.
Since the war, more acres have been cleared, more council flats have been built than in any other London borough. But for what sort of living?
I like to live in an house where there is space. We knock down houses and build big blocks, and we build car parks. Why don't we build houses? My conscience keeps pricking me. I don't know what to do, except build car parks. I wonder why.
And I was shocked. I really was shocked. All this was down, and it really looked as if it was a ghost town. It really, no, this is the gospel truth, I'm not lying. I come to visit a friend of mine moved into Norton House here in Maguiness, and I was so upset to think that they had killed it. You know, they had definitely annihilated the area.
I always understood that the East End of London was the most community conscious part of Britain, probably, as it certainly was. I mean, as one remembers it vaguely, I never lived here, but one knows exactly what happened in the East End in the war and before and in between the wars in terms of community. Now, that's all been shattered really partly physically by the Blitz and the destruction of so many of the areas of terraced housing and so on where people used to live and where community was easy. And then, of course, by redevelopment and the kind of housing that has been put in, these high-rise buildings and so on, where community is desperately difficult. I was told when I first came here that the real problem was the juvenile delinquency problem at a young age, you know, the sort of 7 to 12, that sort of age range. And at that time it was very high, I mean, sort of 1 in 3, I suppose. I don't really remember the exact figure. And I think it's because you've got an area with a tremendous number of kids and jolly little play space.
They've researched it and found that the big new estates produce 4 times more children who get into trouble than any other kind of housing. The parents realised that if only there was somewhere for it, football would at least keep the kids occupied. So they fought the council for a football pitch and got one. 2 years ago, there were 6 teams belonging to 6 different estates. Now there are 26. And they call themselves the E1 League. Then this year they decided that since no one else was doing it, they'd run their own 2-day festival. Frank Maguiness is one of the football managers who together took on the organising.
The idea of the festival in the first place stemmed from the fact of, you take the high-rise dwellings and that are around here, it was a breakdown of community, a breakdown of contact amongst people. And it was thought amongst the people, you know, who were living in the places, if we came together and bring us down onto ground level again, and we'll all get together and we'll organise it ourselves and do it ourselves and come together ourselves, and the community can only grow from that type of thing.
And Joe, I think
We have Charlie, who, as you know, the docks programme is run down. He finds himself redundant from the docks, and he comes along and gives a tremendous amount of help. He has lived here all his life and knows everybody. Well, of course, he's the chairman of the league because, of course, he is the elder man, the man of dignity, a man who can carry us forward, you know, at negotiating tables. We got Kevin Alpen, fantastic with a microphone, unbelievable voice. Obviously, this voice, you know, has been trained up through his years of experience as a shop steward in Fords. And have you ever heard his voice? Christ almighty, you know, he'd knock down tower blocks without microphones.
Good evening, Lieutenant. Good evening. just announcing from the E1 Festival Committee, which, as you know, is running the festival on 22nd and 23rd of July.
You want anything, you go and see Scrap Fred pile down into his yard. How are you fixed for the lorry? I got some stuff to move. Yeah, where are you moving it to? And he'll arrive along with block and tackle and ridiculous lorries and machines and that, you know, that are clapped out, but he get them going for the day and they load up and drive stuff and everything else, you know. It weighs a ton, that stuff, you know. But to fellas like Scrap Freddy, it's like I picking up a match. Come on to Tommy Finn. Tommy, scaffolder around here, right? Works any place. Blacklisted on many a building site. He's been sacked more often than enough, you know. And yet you take the other side of him. We go out into the pubs. Obviously, we need the support and the help of the pubs because, you know, everything we've got to earn it ourselves.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your old favourite back here again, Tommy.
Honestly, nobody could refuse. You couldn't refuse the fella.
However, to put on this festival, on our shoestring budget, which is nil, we need funds.
There's a team of women on this estate, and I don't know how they organise themselves, but they're just there. They're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. And they're going to do something that none of us, not even Tommy Morgan or Tommy Finn, know exactly, you know, and it's their wives who are organising it, know what's going on. I haven't got a clue. I don't know what they'd be up to. Oh, I hope they keep their clothes on.
Welcome back.
Oh, dear.
Okay, you'll remember.
Yeah, can't do me here.
Oh, I like this little dicky tie here.
Oh, beautiful.
What are you shouting now?
I like your tie, Jane. I'm going to hit it up. I like it myself.
The first problem was the usual problem, money. There wasn't any. But Watney Street Market seemed a likely hunting ground.
How you going, all right?
Very well.
Keeping well? Lovely. Right, well, we're doing an E1 Lee Festival down on the Big Long Road. I wondered if you would like to help us in any way by donating something.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's
Mrs. Payne.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Payne.
It's about time we had a festivity in the East End of London. I do agree. It's about time a bit of joviality here. What do you want? Some groceries?
Yes,
Stalls?
yeah,
All right,
please.
I'll promise you a parcel of groceries.
Normally I would have given you some cockles and wills, but I'm on my me on it, but I should donate 2 guineas to the college.
Hey, that should do him a good turn.
Oh, that's marvellous. We're looking for money. How are you fixed?
Go and see Mr. Reed.
Well, no, hang on a minute, hang on. No, wait, you know, we're doing...
Oh, just lower it there a minute. Talk to us for a second.
Well, we're asking the stall holders and everything else to, if they'll donate anything to make this festival a possibility.
Well, every little helps, don't it, buddy?
It is, every little help, that's what it's all about, you know.
Oi!
But if we explain this more...
With only 4 days to go, the money problem had become serious. So they went to see Trevor Huddleston.
Ah, we've come to see the bishop.
Thank you very much.
Quite honestly, I never had much experience with bishops, you see. You don't just go up and knock on the door, the same as you would a publican, and say, you know, well, can we do this, or how are you fixed?
Adverts.
Well, we need the adverts, you know, because you've got to pay for the printing.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. What is the position?
Well, we're a bit stuck at the moment. I was going to ask you how you were fixed, you know, if you could scrape together anything from...
Help us out in any way that you
because
could.
we are under pressure.
Yes, well, I could perhaps raise another 50 quid or so.
Oh, that'd be
do that.
If you could do
That'd
that,
be
it'd be
marvellous.
unbelievable. Oh, Steve.
Stephen Delph, a brilliant musician in his own right, who has formed this band, plays medieval music, and they've got this dancing bear, which performs while the band is playing.
We come on stage and the bear comes on with us. So
terrific.
It won't be too easy for him to wander around beforehand because the bear's busy setting up the equipment.
And there's Django, young Django, kid, writes his own stuff. you know, plays his instrument, plays it beautifully.
And I think life is hard.
He's 12 years of age. I haven't seen him playing football or around. He seems to keep himself very much to himself. In view of the fact that some kids don't play football, some kids don't run races, but they're very, very good at other things, and we thought that we must introduce into the festival something that would involve these kids. And the idea came up of art, so we thought, right, we'll get some hardboard, get some paint, and let the kids do their own thing. We were very hard pushed for cash because they wanted the money for the hardboard. I said to Dan, Jesus, we're in trouble here, you know, and he said, well, I'll see the bish. And he went along and he came back and he had 4 fivers. I hope that by the meeting tonight, by about 8 o'clock, that the stage will be built. We've got to put the roof on it, of course, which is a problem. God, I just remembered I've got to ring up that priest about the tarpaulins to go on the roof. Oh, God. I must do that. I must do that this afternoon. Yeah. Also, the athletics have come together, and there's a fellow over here. You'll have to excuse me. How you doing, Dan?
Hello, Frank. Not
Nice
too
to
bad,
see you.
son. Pleased to meet you.
Right. You got the gear, have you?
Yes, we've got the stuff to erect up here, probably this evening.
Yeah.
And tomorrow.
Well, look, I'm a bit worried, actually. The council were down this morning, and they have very kindly said that they're going to lay down the track for running. And I'm also worried about you, you know, that we're not going to take up any of your space, you know, because obviously the sideshows and that need to give the whole thing the atmosphere. Now,
where is your track coming out as far as what?
It'll cut in.
Cut in over there.
Cut in over there. Now,
well, our wisest point in just looking at that is just keeping away from this track by putting us up in that little block there.
You know the long, narrow windows, Annabelle, at the side with a curved arch?
Danny Gates, who owns a small funfair, isn't rich, but when he heard the festival was still short of money, he quietly wrote out a cheque for £45 over a pint at lunchtime. Altogether, they raised £400 locally.
Dear children, I think. The end. Leaning against the side, we see what it looks like.
Danny?
Yes, my love?
See them pieces of wood over there? Can I use one to do some drawings for me art?
Well, I would, but they've already been drawn on. There's a bit of packing down there. There's a little bit down there. Do you want that little bit down there?
Yeah, right.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
then we'll
Right,
take it.
Thanks. Right, thanks, Dan.
All right, my love.
They're having a parade for
Thursday night, and some last instructions to the players selected for the festival football team on how to behave in the opening parade.
Now listen, when you're coming through Watley Street Market, all right, we all like to mess about. I used to like it when I was a kid. But let's walk through it a little bit orderly. You know, look like we did up Liverpool, throwing pennies up the wall and all that nonsense. We'll do it properly.
The final meeting, and a little matter of public convenience.
They're not using my house.
All right, Maureen, take it a sec.
Maureen, that's not how they do it in the pot, but they do it on the floor, not do it.
Charlie and I personally went to Cheviot House, which is the borough's public health office, right out. We explained to him what we wanted, and he said these mobile loos and whatnot were a firm, and that the borough did not have this equipment. It's a sorry state of affairs. You think if there was an emergency in this borough, we couldn't do anything. You know, we're slipping up badly here. We could have made a fortune out of this. £2 a gold. Be the biggest earner out there.
Next, the Interpub tug of war.
Frank, what teams are actually taking part, Frank, in this?
The Artichoke.
Yeah.
The Aussie.
The Lord Nelson. What about Lord Nelson?
Now, what happened there was that the
barman ran off with a night's takings, and he was, he was a bloke who was organising the team, and he's hiding down in Folkestone, so they won't be putting the team in, I'm afraid.
They haven't got a team.
Lord
Nelson
Nelson
are out.
right?
Chairman, we would like to challenge the winners of the tug of war competition. And we're saying that we want 2 women to each man.
You are really serious that you want to put a team?
Really serious. Right, Frank, we challenge you. And it'll just be one pull. Just one pull.
Your challenge will be accepted. If the men win, will you buy them a round of drinks?
Certainly. Certainly. Charlie, if the women win, what are the men going to give the women?
The day of the festival dawned on a sodden green. It had rained solidly for 5 hours. By 10 o'clock, a rather dampened, uncertain little parade was trying to get itself together.
Street fellas in there. Lawrence McLaughlin, get in there. Come on, in.
Come on, all right?
Yes, all right. And will you bear with us for please, you know, I know it's a bit awkward now, but if you can bear with us for a few minutes, we'll be fine. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed.
Finally, they were off, and suddenly it started to feel like a festival. Financially, things were looking up. The council had in the end sent £100 and the Arts Council £175. And an even higher authority was left to look after the most serious problem.
You don't worry about the weather. You had a word with the governor upstairs. He said it'd be all right. He said it'd be all right. Yes, all right. How you going, Terry?
With the greatest pleasure that I hope and sincerely hope that the weather will stay fine for us and that over the weekend we can have an enjoyable time together. And now I officially declare the fete open. Get on with the fun.
And I'd like to ask you to give 3 cheers for the mayor. Hey, babe! Hey, babe! Hey, babe! Right, the first item of the football.
Go on, come on, quick, free ride, go on.
11 o'clock and not many people yet. Danny Gates tries to cover up the sparse turnout by giving free rides.
For a fast ride.
I must confess, when I worked this morning, I worked with...
Solid, really, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
It was a funny sort of day yesterday because it was sort of
very heavy yesterday, very
Yes,
heavy
yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
So I think it'll pick up as the weather goes better, so the kids will come more.
That's all.
A crate of Coke bottles that never made the marquee. You couldn't exactly say at this point that the festival was a smooth-running operation. You couldn't say it about the athletics anyway.
Competitors, each race. So could you line up with a scoreboard? That means every one of you, can you come back up the track?
Bloody could.
Some of the managers, Dan. Dan, could you get some of the managers to clear people off the track there? It's going to be on an 8 lane. Get off the track. Now, could we have youngsters cleared away from the table so the judges can do the job? Next race, under 8, 50-yard girls, and clear the track. Give a bit of room, bit of air. Right-o? Ready? Thank you. Ready?
We started running and we can't start yet, look.
If they're not in the paper, Tom, we've spent 2 hours trying to get this done, and then people are going to come scratching in it. 50 yards early, and the boys come all the way to the south end. What are you going to do?
Get off.
It's going all right at the moment, but a bit of chaos. There's quite a lot of people not taking a notice of what's being told.
The athletics, like the football, are a deliberate attempt to build up a feeling of identity, of belonging to an estate as once people belonged to a street.
He's good. All right, then. All right.
Jones of Wapping. Jones of Wapping, please.
Where's that girl?
April.
Good boy. Good boy.
A spot of bother about exactly how long 75 yards is.
Where's the kid in red?
That's okay. Oh, start them at 50 yards, so the 75 yards race. We ran in the middle.
Tom, I think they better go again, that one.
I'm sorry.
Out of order.
Well, he did finish second. It's not worth arguing about it.
I'm not arguing, I am telling you the truth.
You always get your little problems arise, even in international avalanches you get it.
Yesterday afternoon we had the most depressing afternoon from a weather point of view.
I took a day off yesterday and walked on the Surrey Hills, went up Leith Hill.
Among the over five, I'd like to give first prize to Cleopatra. And second prize to Queen Elizabeth I. And third prize to Mrs. Mops.
Mrs. Mop.
Mrs.
Well
Mops,
done.
third prize.
Oh my God, that's not ugly enough. Go on, even uglier. Go on, stand on your... Oh, go on, you can do better than that.
I like this one though. This is skitting here. Every time a judge made a witty sally, I laughed my head off. And this I got in thanks. I enjoyed that.
Oh, I only want bloody makeup now.
The football managers get dressed for the drag football match.
I'm not used to this.
That's your front. That's your front now.
This is the front,
That's
is
the
it?
front.
Yeah, it's a shot.
I'm a flat chest.
The evil
There we
stick.
go. Look at that, on the top of your head.
I'd like to have a feel of that.
The bishop has a problem, and there's no actress around to help him.
It's going to be tough to kick that off, isn't it?
Come on, wait. Yes, straight down Bigland Street, all the way round. Right? Oh, Jesus, this is ridiculous.
I don't think so.
Where's your uniform, Paul?
I should have come in my cassock, shouldn't
Yes,
I?
yes, you certainly should.
Hang on, now look here.
Before we start, I'm refereeing this match, and I'm the only referee. Behave yourself, will you? We'll have you done in a minute. Hang on, now then,
All the Hayman managers one side, all the send-up fellas the
now
other.
never mind about that. There's some rules we've got to start on. First of all, when you kick off this game, sideways, you've got to pull it backwards onto yourself, which would be very good. You'll find the goals are a bit offset, and you'll find they might be a bit tough because you've got a big ball. Off you go. Right, I'm ready.
Wait a minute.
All the kids on the pitch. I know the bishop's going to kick it off. Ready, go! Hey! Hey! Come on, son! Wait a minute, son!
The way the people are turning out here, it's going to be a tremendous success. I'm sure it is.
I'm worried about the power on the stage here. I've got to get this bloody power on, or otherwise we're in right stuck.
Mm-hmm.